Hey, what's up guys? It's February 1st, 2020. It's a big day today because February begins the deep dive, the 6-month deep dive into programming for my life, my career, my plan to make $10 million in 10 years. So I've got to basically make a business in 6 months starting today. So the whole reason that I came to Boston with no money, no job, no friends, just to start a career, start my business, start my startup, and begin my programming career, it all begins today. All the lessons that I learned coming in here at the beginning of July, and losing $2,000, getting fired from my first job, finding a lease, all that shit that happened in these past months, being educated in the streets, coming out of college from Brown, all of that has amounted to this day today. It all starts today, February 1st, 2020. You guys, this is the beginning of my actual career, my actual life. I finally have become a seasoned veteran of the game. I've learned the lessons of the streets. I've been stolen from, I've been scammed, I've learned my lessons. For sure, I've made mistakes, and I'm no longer that naive kid that just graduated out of college and just came to Boston with no plan and no money. So I've climbed the hierarchy, the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I've got a job even after I got fired. I've got a gym that I work out at. My body is ready. I'm strong. I got a six-pack. I lost my six-pack. Now I'm kind of in a bulking phase, but I'm about to get it back again. I'm starting this 6-month deep dive into programming. I've been going to networking events, meeting people who are in the area, trying to start their own startups. I've learned a whole bunch of new kind of tidbits, and I know what I have to do next. I know the next plan. I'm on the next cipher, and I've got the next step ahead of me. So life is pretty exciting. It's Saturday today. I have work that I'm about to go into at Walgreens. That's the kind of part-time job I'm doing now. But I had my first session as a tutor on Thursday, and I have another one this Tuesday coming up. So yeah, I've got a whole bunch of kind of things in the works. I've got things happening. I've got Hustle Culture Season 1 that I'm going to be working on this year. I've got Mine is a Palace coming up this year. So in these 6 months I have a whole bunch of plans, and today is the beginning of it all. As you can tell by the title of this video, I wanted to explain something that recently happened. So I remember last week I said I was going to attempt a 300-pound squat. That was the max that I kind of wanted to start, because I'm also going to be doing Greg's Kino Body Greek God program, and so I'm going to be taking a step back from doing squatting twice a week into once a week now. And I kind of wanted to end my Candido career. That's kind of what the program I was on beginning my fitness career, at a 300-pound squat. So I attempted it and I failed. And I want to explain why actually this is a good thing, how I've kind of recovered from the loss, and the way that I think about it. So I'm going to show you right now what my attempt was. So I actually attempted it twice, once on Tuesday and then once on Friday, yesterday. And both times what happened was that I did not hit depth. So I was able to rack the weight, put it on my back and go down, but I wouldn't go to depth. And for some reason, there's a few reasons about this. One is that I haven't attempted a max in a few months now, so I haven't been in that zone to really test my true max in a while. The other is that I've been squatting without a mirror for the past few months as well. So this was the first time I've kind of recorded my squat and seen it from the outside perspective, and yeah, I did not like what I saw. So basically, I'll go through what it appeared to be is that I was leaning forward, my back rounded, my ankles lifted, and I did not even hit depth. I did not even hit close to depth. I basically did a half rep. And what I realized was that I was actually probably doing this for the past 2 to 3 months now, just because I hadn't been paying attention. I hadn't been seeing myself squatting for a while, and so I had been maintaining my form, while I had a mirror while I was working out before, early in my career, but since then, I've been sloppy, and I hadn't been measuring myself. I hadn't been focused about my workouts, and I did not like what I saw. I did not hit depth, and I probably haven't been training properly in the past few months. So this was a huge wake-up call that I haven't actually been performing and practicing in the best way possible. As they say, perfect practice makes perfect, not practice makes perfect. You have to practice in the proper way as well. And so what I saw when I did this rep, when I tried this max, was that I've been leaning forward and my form has just become super sloppy. What I noticed was that yes, my form has kind of wandered off, but I forgot what I was gonna say. What I noticed, I guess, is that it'll come back to me, but one thing is that you have to keep always measuring yourself, and when you let things fall off of your focus and you don't maintain, then your nature is going to wander. Now that's kind of a vague thing to say, but essentially what I mean is if you have to know yourself, right? And if you don't keep a tight leash on kind of your tendency to go one way or the other, whereas you want to go straight forward, then if you don't pay attention, you're going to lose focus, or you're going to become sloppy. So that's what I noticed about myself, my form, is that I had become sloppy with my form because I hadn't been paying attention to it. And so it's been a huge wake-up call to see and measure myself again, that I've got to get back into the groove. I've got to keep the weight back, and I have to hit full depth. Anyways, I wanted to explain, that a half marathon is not a marathon, and what that means. So if you look at the squat, a beginner might look at it and say, well, it's basically at depth, it's basically at 90 degrees. So yes, you didn't get it, but it looks almost like you got it. And the thing that you have to understand is that this, doing this half rep that I did in this squat is not even the full measurement of the squat. It's not even, it's a half marathon, it's a half rep. What it turns out is that most of the effort in the actual lift happens at depth. It's called going into the hole. And so what the hole is when you get to the very bottom of your squat, that's when you're in the hole. That's when you're at the very pits of hell. This is where it all goes wrong. This is where you actually test your mettle. And so if you can pick it up from the hole, then you can say that you've hit the squat, you've hit the lift. But if you can't get into the hole, if you can't get into that spot where you're seated, in the squat, then if you can't get it up from there, then you can't get it up at all. You're not actually squatting it. So most of the effort comes from lifting it from the hole out of the hole. That's the actual lift. So since I half repped it, I never went into the hole, so I never actually lifted it. So this principle is the same as what you could say as, it's better to try your best and fail than to never try and never lose. So what that means is, I should have just gone to depth, gone to into the hole and not been able to lift it, rather than stopping just shy of the hole and just and then attempting it from there. For some reason, my body just kept catching itself before I can go into it because it was too afraid. So so it was a mental kind of block. And I don't know, this vlog is a little bit scatterbrained today, but I didn't formulate my words properly. But I want to show you guys this principle that a half marathon is not a marathon. So check this out over here, okay? So I've got this setup right here. So if you look at this, okay, this is a marathon. This is mile 0. This is mile 26.2. Okay, what turns out is that the last 3 miles or so in the marathon, the last 3 miles, these are 80% of the effort. Okay? So like these last 3 miles are the hardest part in the marathon. Okay, if you do a half marathon right here, this is, you see, if you try to go from 0 to a half marathon, you never end up doing this last 3 miles in the marathon, okay? Which is most of the difficulty of the marathon. So, if you look at it like that, okay? You see what I mean by that is, if you do a half rep, you end up missing out on the most difficult part of the challenge. And so, of the lift. And so when you don't go into the hole, you miss most of the actual lift. And so that's why a half marathon is not the same as a marathon. If you don't go the full 9 yards, you didn't win. If you don't actually cross the finish line, you didn't finish the race. And so no one remembers the second man. Okay, people remember Buzz Aldrin, but like everyone remembers Neil Armstrong, right? So like you have to be able to finish. You have to be able to go the distance. That's what separates the winners from the losers. It's you have to execute, right? If you go hunting, no one's gonna be happy that you almost caught the fish. They care if you brought home the fish, right? So you have to actually win. And so I was deluding myself in thinking that I had been lifting. I could do a 300-pound squat. I could, hit the max, but that's just hurting myself in the end, right? If I pretend like I could hit it, then I'm not winning. I'm just allowing myself to feel like I won and perpetuating weakness in myself. So by accepting this defeat, this loss that, I lost to the 300-pound squat, could not do it, not yet at least. By accepting that pain, hurt to the ego, I allow myself to get stronger because I know what comes next. What comes next is more training, proper training. What this shows me is my true max is maybe 290, 285. And I have to start from there, rework the form, and get to the 300 in the correct way. So I know it's what comes next. So in a way, it's a positive thing. It's a good thing because I've been here before. I've messed up my form and I reworked it and I got it back again in the correct way. So in the long run, this is the correct way to do things, and I've learned that this is what allows me to become strong. This is where I kind of test who am I, what do I want, what type of man do I want to become. And if I allow myself to slip at the kind of principles and cut corners and not do things properly at this stage in the game, how am I supposed to do things properly later on when it's even more difficult, when there's even more people counting on me, when there's more pressure to compete? So right now I'm chiseling down the statue. I'm the uncarved block, as the Taoists might say, and I'm chiseling myself into something proper, into something magnificent, hopefully. And I'm deciding who I'm going to be, and that starts with doing things the right way at the first time from the beginning. So this is the beginning of the 6-month deep dive. I'm going to be doing courses on Udacity to learn about AI, Python programming. I want to start a fintech company. I want to build software that I can license out, or build a team that we can do something together. I want to save people's lives. I want to change people for the better. I want to make life easier for everybody. And this is just the beginning, folks. This has gone on pretty long, but I know it's kind of scatterbrained, but trying to be consistent here. I have work in the next hour. I'm working 7 days this week, so I'm on that hustle grind. I'm climbing that Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I'm building myself, starting from scratch, and sometimes it takes a lot of work, and you have to start at a very low point, and you have to be humble. And when you start with nothing, no one's gonna give a shit about you. So that's kind of where I'm at. But I know it's temporary, and I know it's the crucible that will build me up to something great. This is the crucible right now. This is the test. I'm in the furnace right now. I'm burning up. I'm clay molded, and I'm molding myself. And in the furnace, I'm becoming a statue of marble, hopefully. So that's the idea behind this. Hopefully that lets you into kind of my mentality, my mindset, where my zone is, and it inspires you, or maybe gives you something to think about. Anyways, if you learn anything or entertained today, drop me a like, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss next week's video. Drop me a comment. I read every comment. I love to hear what you guys to say. What do you guys think about this deep dive into programming and starting my career, starting startup? Have you guys ever ran a marathon? Have you guys ever tried something and failed but thought that you did it anyways? Have you guys, let yourself off the hook trying to save your own ego, but then realize that that's hurting yourself? I don't know, I'm just trying to summarize the message of this video today. Anyways, if you guys agree with what I'm saying about this kind of trying and failing instead of never trying and never losing, let me know. And then I'd love to hear what you guys to say. It's definitely something that I look forward to each time. So with that, I will leave you guys, but as always, I love you guys, and I will see you next Thursday. Peace.